My teammate calls for reinforcements and my Hell pod drops from the sky. On its way, it crashes through a towering long-legged enemy, smashing them to pieces. It's the kind of moment that makes Helldivers 2 what it is. But this time, when I step from my pod, guns blazing with the kind of arrogance that benefits only these most serendipitous of kills, it's not into some blasted wasteland besieged by bugs or bots. Now I'm fighting in the dense streets of a colony city against mind-controlled human shells. The Illuminates are back, and the galactic war is expanding into its third, and possibly most dangerous front. Mysteriously absent from the first year of the war, the Illuminates were the third enemy faction in the original Helldivers, a squid-like mind-controlling force. Their return in the sequel has been long rumoured, whispered about by veteran players and used within Helldivers canon to scare unruly children straight. Now they're officially back, with a vanguard force using guerrilla tactics to gain a foothold in parts of Super Earth space that was supposed to be safe. That's bad news for the people living there.
How about a nice cup of liberty?
In the 4 missions I play against the Illuminates, the new arrivals themselves stride across cities in harvesters. Towering walkers, their huge lasers scything across the ground like something out of War of the Worlds. When they dismount, they're threatening brutes, marching players down with a dangerous staff and shield combo, or frustrating aerial troopers flitting about as they pepper you with grenades. But the Illuminates don't want to put their own in danger if they can avoid it. So instead, they're putting your former allies in the firing line.
No! Sweet liberty! No!
Just as the automatons and terminids complement their ranks of devastating special units with more fragile cannon fodder, so do the Illuminates. The difference this time, however, is this new fodder used to be friend, not foe. Citizens of Super Earth, their homes invaded, their minds addled, chase you down zombie-like through the streets of their former homes. We're a long way from shooting galleries of Terminid space, or the automatons player-dubbed Robot Vietnam. Instead, these new enemies, referred to as the Voteless due to their removal from Super Earth's democratic process, combined with all new urban environments, lead to what game director Michael Erickson tells me is more of a horde zombie kind of gameplay. It's also a more difficult experience, at least initially, than anything you fought before. The vast majority of the time I spent fighting the Illuminates was in the streets and alleyways of Super Earth colonies, distinctly urban spaces far more tightly packed than the wide open plains of your battles with the Terminids and automatons. Fights are changed entirely by the ability to duck around a corner to elude an enemy, or hide behind a building to dodge a harvester laser. There's a lot more verticality to play with, stairways and town squares offering natural choke points, if you can manipulate enemy drops effectively. You'll need to learn to use those tools to your advantage, because there are downsides too. Fighting in the streets means there's nowhere to run if you're surrounded. You're hemmed in by houses and city walls that offer very few ways out of a fight. The Illuminates take advantage of those densely packed cities by dropping mind-altering obelisks in, scrambling your stratagem codes. Muscle memory is no longer your friend, as you'll need a different set of inputs each time you want to call in a new strike. And even if you do get out of dodge, recon drones will happily give away your location if they spot you out in the open, bringing a new squad of enemies down on your head. Thankfully, if you do find yourself closed in, there's a pair of new tools at your disposal. 2 melee weapons, a baton and a lance that slot in instead of your secondary weapons, are very effective in close quarters. Against the right kind of enemies, it's possible to fight tooth and claw through the streets, holding back large groups without spending a single precious round of ammo. And if you really do have to drop everything and run, you'll get to do so with Helldivers 2's first proper vehicle. A perfect fit for the tarmac roads and neat grid structure of the colonies. Equipped with 5 seats, manual transmission, and a roof-mounted turret, this open-top Jeep is perfect for getting from place to place quickly, until you need to take it off-road. At that point, Helldivers 2's first vehicle quickly becomes a death trap. Speeds that I took as high as 60 km per hour, even on rough terrain, means that it's easy to overshoot an objective. The ability to lean out of the windows to blast nearby enemies means that should your driver crash, as I did, you'll be sent flying from the car. And manual transmission means that you'll need to get to grips with driving stick if you want to effectively maneuver across the poxmarked planets beyond the colony walls. Just like Helldivers mechs, support weapons, or Eagle 1 500 kg bombs, this vehicle is a stratagem. It won't fit every situation, and you'll be sacrificing something else if you decide to bring it planetside with you, but for any large-scale mission, it's likely to be a must-pick. Obviously, it's useful for getting around quickly, but it can also get you out of a tricky situation nice and fast. And it's got plenty of offensive punch to combine with that utility. Alongside that rear turret, all 3 passengers can lean out of the window to pull a drive-by on any and all enemies of freedom. Most importantly, however, the car is fun. Fast enough to let you pick up some speed, but fragile enough to throw an entire mission if you crash it badly enough. It's a perfect addition for this point in Helldivers 2's lifespan. Just like the Illuminates themselves, it adapts around the winning formula without changing it too much. There's nothing in Omens of Tyranny that feels too distant from anything Arrowhead has thrown at us before. For months, the studio has been prepared to invent and reinvent around its winning formula, offering just enough to keep the galactic war machine moving forward without changing its course too drastically. At the end of a year that's seen Helldivers 2 go from unexpected hit to community pariah and pretty much all the way back again, the changes brought in with this update are a reminder that reinventing the wheel isn't always all it's cracked up to be. Are you excited for Helldivers 2's new content? If so, what are you most looking forward to? The new enemies, weapons, the vehicle stratagem? Let us know in the comments and stick with GamesRadar for the latest previews, news and more.